La noche siguiente. Estado del distrito estable. ¿Qué se referirán con eso? ¿La cantidad de guardia que hay contra vampiros? Venga, voy a hacer pipí. Ok. ¿Respawnean los güeyes? Los escuché cerca. Oh. Creo que sí respawnean. Eso es bueno para mí, malo para ellos. Oye, motherfucker. Regeneración de vida. ¿Cuánto sangrita? No me arrepiento de nada. Ustedes empezaron. Defensa propia. ¿Por qué me dan chelines? Voy a encontrar un vendedor para vampiros o algo así.
It's locked, all right. Fresh blood. The whole building reeks of it. The scent is so strong it makes me dizzy.
Jesus. Wow. Sean. Desconocido, pero... William Bishop. Oh, yeah, guadaña usada, yo quiero. ¿Cómo la equipo? Quiero equiparla. Ay, pendejo. Inventory. Fuck. Fuckity, fuckity. No sé equiparme cosas todavía. Este es el inventario, literal le puedo picar a los detalles. Y aquí está la guadaña. Solamente puedes mejorar tus armas en la mesa de trabajo. Sí, yo sé, pero eso no es lo que quiero. Quiero equiparla. Algo tan simple como equipar algo. Búsqueda principal, menú del ciudadano, investigaciones locales, artículos. Ah. Interesante. A lo mejor solo lo puedo hacer en el refugio. Ahí hay alguien. Responden muy rápido los güeyes. ¿Qué fue? Ah, ¿qué le dijiste? ¿Seguro que no quieres ir? Pues dile que sí. No, en serio. Te lo estoy diciendo bien. Ok. ¿A qué hora es? ¿No te dijo? Oh, ese güey está afuera. ¿Pero afuera de dónde? ¿Por acá? Oh, sí, aquí está. Garras locas de vampiro loco. Exacto, garras locas de vampiro loco. ¿Cómo diablos equipo? O sea... la madre. Tú no estabas aquí hace unos momentos. Guasa, madapaca, guasa. Y adivina qué te voy a hacer. Garras locas de vampiro loco. Au. Blah, motherfucker, blah. Ok. Ahora sí. Güey, quiero equiparme cosas. Quiero equiparme cosas. ¿Por qué no me dejas de equipar cosas, juego? Bueno, mi teoría es que me puedo equipar cosas en el refugio. A lo mejor no en otro lugar. Se me hace estúpido, pero... ¿quién soy yo para juzgar? Vamos a subirle el nivel. ¿Puedo? ¿No puedo? Ah, no, me falta una vara de plomo. ¿Tengo reciclables? No tengo. Puta madre. Puta madre. Quiero equipármelo. ¿Por qué no me dejan equiparlo, maldito sea? Cojones y así. Chubidubi. No, en serio, esto es estúpido. ¿Cómo me equipo cosas? A ver. Opción de juego. Esquema de control. Caminar, lateral, lateral. Ajá, bloquear enemigo interior. Siguiente, interacción. Habilidad 1, 2, 3, 4. Avanzadas con 5. Ok, avanzadas con... ah, no, son las habilidades avanzadas, las 5. Consumible 1 y 2. Ok, el T y el G son para consumibles. Cambiar arma de lucha cuerpo a cuerpo Z. Oh, nadie me dijo eso. Miente. Ya le piqué Z y no pasa nada. Z, X, Z, X, Z, X, Z, X, Z, X, Z, Z. Hijos de la chuchi. ¿Por qué me mienten? Ay, güey. A ver. Otra vez. Acciones del juego. Vincular teclas. Acción en combate. Es que literal dice cambiar con Z. Ya le piqué Z, no pasa nada. Menú de personajes, menú de ciudadanos, búsqueda, inventario. Mesmerizar. Chequeo médico con E. Detalles médicos con F. Nope. Tengo un arma más chida que no puedo usar. Qué perfectillo. ¿Y ahora por qué cojones estoy caminando? ¿Qué le piqué para empezar a caminar en vez de correr? Chinga, Mary. Ok, B grande. B grande para caminar chill.
This place reeks of bloodshed.
I'll need a drink. I'm so thirsty, William. As one, we shall overcome this. We've done it before.
This creature is bedeviled. I must put it down.
Exacto, bitch, no puedes contra mí. Soy mejor vampiro que tú. Nom 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 nom, motherfucker, nom nom nom. Nom 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 nom. Ándale, güey. Ok, me dio una porra usada. ¿De qué sirve si no me la puedo equipar, güey? Ok, esta está seleccionada claramente. ¿Cómo diablos selecciono una maldita sea? ¡Ah! ¿O es porque es nivel 2 y se ve verde? Interesante. I hate everything. Ese hombre tiene pitito. Digo, no, Twitch. Tú no viste nada. Ok, creo que es todo.
I forgive you. The Lord is my shepherd.
¿Quién eres tú?
William was an honourable man. I could
Oh.
have saved him.
Mr. Hampton, are you in there?
I knew him well, another lost soul, a kindred
Sir,
spirit.
listen to the sound of my voice. I'm a doctor. You're suffering from shock.
I must return to my flock. They stray without me.
Oh. Ok.
Remember, certain skulls are every bit as resistant as we are.
Who are you? What do you mean by scowl?
You truly are a newborn. I should have realized.
Wait. You are the woman from the bar. Are you like me? Can you help me?
I believe so. I already have.
By George and the Saints, you've solved the mystery of these terrible murders. Patience, good fellows, I've come to offer help. Just give me a moment to secure my boat. We can leave this awful place.
William was not the evil man they claimed. He was just taken by the thirst. He needed this drink.
This man requires medical attention. We'll see he gets to the nearest hospital.
No, please, I must tend to my fold. My flock needs me.
There, sir. Go with a good Dr. Swansea. He's resourceful, and I'm sure he'll take good care of you.
You'd best come as well. The sun is soon to rise, and you'll need a place to rest.
I just need a moment. If I can learn something about what has happened to William, I'll be a step closer to understanding what happened to me.
Huh. Sí, sí, sangre por todos lados. Muy bien, muy bien.
This poor creature can't be my maker.
Muestra de sangre de William
Could it
Bishop.
be some subspecies of vampire? I must find a place to analyze the blood.
Makes sense. Por fin me cambiarán mi ropa, por favor.
Where are we headed?
We're on our way to the Pembroke Hospital. It's just across the canal. They'll have a bed for poor Mr. Hampton.
William was... What manner of creature was he?
Predator, prey, villain, and victim. Who can say? The important thing is that he's been stopped.
Duly noted. And the woman? What... Who is she?
What woman?
No, don't play me for a fool. You used me to locate that skull. You must know who she is.
I thought you a gentleman. You shouldn't talk about a lady behind her back, but I will tell you she values her privacy. Were London as peaceful as she appears from the middle of the canal? If only that were the reality of the situation.
To be honest, I've always tried to avoid this part of town.
Pembroke Hospital is the last bastion between the rest of London and the epidemic. The flu has decimated the East End and the war still rages. Welcome to the front lines of a plague.
This is where you work, Dr. Swansea.
I am the administrator of Pembroke Hospital.
I thought you were here in service of your mysterious order, the Brotherhood of...
Of St. Paul's Stole, yes. But first and foremost, I'm a man of science. A physician. Like yourself, Dr. Reed.
How do you know who I am?
No need for modesty. You are Dr. Jonathan Reed, a surgeon
Oh.
of some caliber and renown, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct, sir.
I knew it. I had my suspicions. But when you took the blood sample from the corpse of poor William, I was certain. Dr. Reed. Marvelous.
Have we met?
I attended 3 of your seminars before the war. I have the utmost admiration for your research. And what a turn of fate. England's most esteemed blood specialist returns to London a vampire.
That word, again, from a so-called man of science.
I understand. Traditionally, the role of science is to refute myth, but when myth walks among us, the Brotherhood of St. Paul has dedicated its purpose to their study. There's so much for you to learn.
Of that, you are right.
Well, then let me be blunt. Join my staff at Pembroke Hospital. As a physician. I suspect you'll not find a better post of employment to contemplate your predicament.
This is sudden. I was returning home to see my sickly mother. But alas, that was before contracting this affliction.
Dr. Reed, take a moment to consider. The post would be for the night shift, providing a good explanation for your absence during daylight hours. You'll be adequately reimbursed and have a place to hide.
Nice.
I even had the forethought to bring some clean clothes.
Gracias.
So, what do you say?
Dile que sí, ya, hombre.
It seems I have little choice.
Exacto.
Yours is a generous offer, so I thank you.
Brilliant! Oh, Jonathan, this is one for the book and the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Ooh. Me fucking likey.
Dr. Swansea, thank goodness. I was beginning to be concerned.
Worry no more, Nurse Crane, for I bring good news.
Oh, Doctor, what a night. We lost 2 more patients. Nurse Scow said she couldn't take it anymore and resigned.
Yes, well, I'll make a new rota in the morning. In the meantime, find a good bed for Mr. Hampton. Be sure to pay attention to his needs.
Of course, Doctor.
Oh, and Dorothy,
Yes, Doctor?
Dr. Reed here has just returned from the front. He served King and Country and will be joining us here at Pembroke. We're very lucky to have gained a surgeon of his talent, and one so experienced in blood transfusions.
That is good news indeed, Doctor.
Oh, yes. Here at Pembroke, it's not what we have, but what we haven't. It's only thanks to Nurse Crane and the staff that our ship doesn't sink. If you have any questions, just ask her.
Duly noted. Thank you.
Your assistance is required, Dr. Swansea,
Welcome
immediately.
aboard, Jonathan. We'll catch up after my rounds. Coming, Nurse Crane. I'm coming.
Ok. Ok. Entrar en el hospital de Pembroke. Déjame adivinar, va a estar cerrado.
I cannot enter.
Obviamente. Estado del distrito saludable. Oh, a eso se refiere, a la salud del distrito. Entonces yo voy a curar la plaga con el tiempo.
It's my turn.
Rotten or each heart contains life. Drink at this river, try it all.
Oh, come on, you bastard. I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse.
Insulting a good Samaritan. Not exactly the way to get rescued.
All right, sorry. I am in pain here. My guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
Calidad de la sangre. La calidad de la sangre indica cuántos puntos de experiencia obtendrás de un ciudadano en específico. Cuando mayor sea la calidad de sangre, más experiencia tendrás. Mesmerizar. Para beber la sangre de tu presa, primero tienes que mesmerizarla. Para que se aleje de la vista de los demás. Tu nivel de mesmerización debe ser igual o mayor a la resistencia del ciudadano.
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
Nice.
In the back, you bastard! Didn't have the guts to fart me. Fuck you. I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
Buena música, buen ambiente.
To taste a life, to embrace its most intimate secrets. Such a burden, such a divine sin.
Okay. Salud. ¿Cómo cojones muevo el mapa? Ok. Vaya, todo esto es el puto hospital, es demasiado. Ajá, lo sabía. Muere, cochino Skull. Sucio. Devolver la billetera a su dueño. Oh. Entonces. Interesante. Pensé que estaba muerto, no está muerto. Sean y está bien feo. Sean y desconocido. Interesante. Ya hay cosas. Bien. Bote de basura. Estado del distrito grave. Ok. Y aquí en el hospital saludable. Qué raro, ¿verdad? ¿Quién lo diría? O sea que te dejen ver para dentro de las casas aunque no puedas entrar. ¿Sacas? Cool. That's cool. That's very cool. Very cool, dude. ¿Dónde? Aquí hay ratitas. Eso significa que hay un... ¿Cómo se llama? Un refugio cerca. Ah. Oh, Dios. Señora, ¿qué le hicieron? ¿Refugio? No, este no es un refugio ni de pedo. ¿Qué me dieron? ¿Qué me dieron? ¿Qué me dieron? Una botella de pastillas grande. Ingredientes para medicinas, por fin. Ok. Este güey es nivel 16. ¿Qué pedo? Estoy en un distrito feo. Estoy en un distrito feo. Bien, maté uno. Bien, 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 bien. Todo está bien, todo está bien. Todo está saliendo bien. Eres mío, perra. Ok, me gusta que esos güeyes sean difíciles. Se me estaba haciendo muy fácil el combate. Pero ya le dio un sentido. Eso. A huevo, güey. Chingón. ¿No me dan experiencia en base al nivel del güey? Au. Deberían de. Órale, güey. ¿5 puntos nada más? ¿Por qué? 5 puntos es muy poco. ¿No crees? Influenza. Ok. Gripe frecuentemente seguida con complicaciones a causa de neumonía. Para evitar cualquier caso de gripe español, no salga de su casa. Ok.
I said stay away, sir! Over there!
Dame tu sangre. Ándale, güey. Oh, ¿qué hice? No. Cositas. Ajá. ¿Dónde estoy? Estoy en un dungeon o algo así. Uy. Es un skull. Ok. Soy más poderoso que tú, bitch. La verdad no. Eres nivel 16 y yo soy 4. Soy más hábil que tú. Skull clandestino. Jaja. Mierda, güey. Ay, mierda, me mataron. Qué imbécil. Definitivamente estoy en un lugar que es muy high level para mí. Pero me caga porque mato a güeyes que yo sé que son muy high level para mí. Obviamente, ese no es el problema. No me dan la experiencia en base al nivel de güey que estoy matando. Y pues, no por nada me estoy arriesgando. Ah. Mierda. Y la otra que me molesta es cómo chingados cambio de arma. Muy estúpido.
Last warning, sir. Sir, step away.
Órale, güey.
It's a leech. Get it.
Jamás me atraparán. Bien. A ver, déjame checo. ¿Cómo cambiar de arma Vampyr PC? Oh, ahí sí brilló algo. Mío. Oh yeah, frascos de vidrio. Para hacer pocioncitas.
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
Ok.
I
siento.
apologize, nurse. I needed some time to myself. This has been the longest and strangest night of my life.
You delivered poor Mr. Hampton from a terrible fate. The means to that end should be of little concern, Doctor.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
Nice.
I would like to ask a few questions first. And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
Oh, mamona. Contéstame, güey.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is Sutton. I've only just returned to England.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
It's right to assume Dr. Swansea knows far more about me than I do about him.
You'll get to know him soon enough, and better than me. The administrator has better things to do than mix with us.
If you could point me in the direction of my room again, nurse.
Second floor of the hospital, left after the stairs. It's the last vacant office at the end of the corridor.
Ok.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
No sé si sea bug. O si sea de que tienes que llegar a cierto punto en la historia para poder cambiar. Porque pues estoy en la introducción, como quien dice todavía.
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
Huh.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
This hospital is not exactly the best of London. I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
It's more than enough. In any case, the personnel of a hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Don't be misled by appearances, Dr. Reed. This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good. But during this troubled period, there is no time for slander. I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Oh.
Tell me more about cherished people then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Huh. Lol.
Any opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office down again.
Ya subí en Londres ya. Preguntas personales, requieren muchas pistas. ¿Qué pasa si le pico R? Ok. Chequeo médico.
Do you need any medical assistance yourself, Doctor?
Come on, don't be ridiculous, dear colleague.
Ok.
Goodbye, Dr. Tibbets.
¿Dónde está la chava con la que estabas hablando? La espanté. ¿Es ella?
If Pembroke is still standing after this epidemic.
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, the new surgeon here at Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised. But I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard, Doctor.
An invisible enemy. Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a good night's sleep.
Do you think this hospital can survive the epidemic?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but how do we beat an invisible killer? Some nurses have already resigned.
Jesus.
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them. Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tibbets. He should be a standard for us all here. If only he were younger.
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
Ok, tiene sentido.
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No, I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
Ok. Sounds fair.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Huh. Son los mismos güeyes. Si quiero investigar absolutamente a todas las personas también.
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research. Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon.
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
And And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Valko?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Ugh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Valko?
It's only a cover to hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Okay.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Investigación local. Aquí se muestran las investigaciones de los ciudadanos categorizados por distritos. Puedes comenzar una nueva búsqueda de ciudadano rastreo con bla bla bla. Y luego acceso al mapa para localizar el área a explorar. Thelma Howcroft. Objetivo equivocado. Averigua quién está... Ok. Rastrear.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No, such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
LOL. Qué divertido.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
How long have you been a nurse?
Or long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
I don't like your attitude, Nurse Hawkins. Pessimism can be as lethal as the epidemic in times like these.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual. especially concerning doctors.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Okay, okay.
Do you need medical help yourself, nurse?
I'm fine, really. I just need to sleep.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
No le pregunté a ella. Se ocupa ayuda médica. Ok, está cargando demasiado. ¿Por qué está cargando demasiado?
Fear and disgust on every street corner. The daily routine.
Good evening, Miss Howcroft. How are you tonight?
I need blood, Doctor. Warm, rich, vibrant.
Do you require my services, Miss Howcroft?
I have no need for your medicine, Dr. Reed. Blood is the only drug I need.
Ok, no sé por qué esperé una
I'll
respuesta
leave you,
diferente.
Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities. Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
How close are you to Miss Hawcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
¿Mande? ¿No me hablaste? Ok.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of my blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
And it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
Soldier, do you need assistance?
I'm fine. Just do something for this pain, will you? That's all I'm asking.
Soldier,
Ay,
do you
pendejo.
need
Me equivoqué de
assistance?
botón.
I'm fine.
Ah, tal vez si lo mesmerizaba lo podía ayudar.
Disgust on every street
Pero creo que no.
The daily routine.
Ah, aquí está el padre.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion make me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul searching for light.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
What is the general situation in the East End, Docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the Dockers Trade Union. The Wet Boot Boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your name.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks, and I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking.
Me siento en
I
Fallout.
feel exhausted.
Chingos de preguntas, chingos de información.
William drank so much of my blood in his madness.
Chingo de diálogo, pero aún así todo muy interesante.
Empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. Then I can go back to the people who need me.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really, but I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the doctor many months ago.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton.
Ooh.
It's locked, all right.
A giant wall disguised as a hospital. That's Pembroke nowadays.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war, and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
I have some good news, Milton.
What? The epidemic's over?
I retrieved your wallet, with all the money and a certain picture.
Well, yeah, Pippa Hawkins is my girl. So what? Is it the difference of skin colour that bothers you?
Not at all, Milton.
Good. Please, take this money anyway, to remind you to keep your mouth shut. Not everybody's as broad-minded as you, Dr. Reed.
How is the situation around here?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything, and it's getting worse every day.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know, and by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns, I mean.
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess. I'll bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
Since you're on the front line,
Están tocando.
how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
Están tocando.
It's a
Juego de
complete
imaginación.
disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing in. I escaped from the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital. That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
Tío, porque se escuchó como si estuvieran tocando varias veces. Te creo.
Do you need any medical help, Milton?
I'm fine, Doc. Physically, at least. But I would give everything to be in a better place right now.
What's going on between you and Nurse Hawkins?
Pippa's tired. Tired of all this shit. Tired of all those corpses piling up. She's as depressed as I am.
During the war, I witnessed a few couples just like you come together in difficult circumstances. It can be very damaging.
Maybe you're right. But we support each other. And that's all that matters.
You do realize you could both get fired. Hospital staff are not meant to have intimate relationships with one another.
Come on, Dr. Reed. Do you know how many rules are broken in this hospital every day just to keep it running? There's nothing wrong with what we're doing.
Goodbye, Milton.
A ver, bicha pipa. ¿Qué pedo con tu hijo
Good
Hawkins?
evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Aquí no es. Aquí. Ajá.
Pepper, I know you're
Pepper.
very close to Milton Hooks.
Yes? Milton Hooks is my man. If you want to report me for that, just feel free, Doctor.
I have no intention of reporting you, Nurse Hawkins, but are you aware of the risks?
The rules say I won't be allowed to work as a nurse anymore. But here at the Pembroke, we break rules all the time.
Is he worth the risk?
Hey, I'm no perfect woman, and Milton is not the finest bloke, but we do our best to get by. That's all any of us can hope for nowadays.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Ok.
Goodbye, nurse.
Bien. No hay güeyes nuevos acá. Hay güeyes nuevos afuera. Aquí adentro. Oh.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed? Yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get. You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
Aren't you too old for such jealousy? It really won't do you any good, you know.
Don't be ridiculous, Dr. Reed. A simple glance is enough for me to know you have nothing for me to envy.
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Knowledge has always been and will remain our main weapon, and it has always come at a price. And personal initiative.
It is not a question of initiative, it is a question of integrity. These men and women have put their faith in us, Dr. Reed.
It seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd. Thank you for your... Good evening, madam. Can
my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
Goodbye, Miss.
Waste your time with me.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reed. It's my mother.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Goswick.
I don't want to talk, Doctor.
I have...
Doctor.
Good evening, Doc.
Good.
Pensé que me iba a dejar pedirle que se fuera después de la información.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Fitting.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reed.
Are you satisfied with your treatment here? Well, I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reed? I have the feeling you're very capable, and your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies. Tell me about the doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Goodbye for now, Mr.
Down, my boy.
Ok. Uy, güey, demasiadas personas. Y faltan los doctores que están afuera todavía. Y regresar con el de la ambulancia y con la señorita Hawkins porque están haciendo sus chanchullas.
Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? I should investigate. It's locked.
Que la chinga.
I cannot enter.
Que la chingada con sus pinches. Está cerrada, bleh.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead.
A colleague? Are you a doctor too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Jadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Jadana, pawnbroker and humble guardian of this morgue.
What do you mean? You used to be a doctor. Was your license revoked?
No, sir. It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor.
Okay.
Are you afraid or uneasy being surrounded by so many corpses?
Why should I? These bodies are empty vessels. Flesh left to decay. Poof. No soul anymore. All gone.
An interesting point of view. And quite an exotic one, too. Most people fear, or at least have a respect, for dead flesh.
Sir, as a medic during the war, I learned to face my death and the death of others. It's the pain we have to tame, not death itself.
How did you get this job?
After I left the army, I worked as an undertaker down by the docks. A dangerous place with many an unpleasant business. Milton Hooks helped me get a job here.
Do you work here alone?
Yes, very easy work, sir. All I have to do is watch a few bodies. The situation was very different when the main morgue was still open.
Why do you have to watch these bodies?
Because these poor fellows have no names. We keep them in case someone comes looking for the missing. Sadly, very rarely happens.
Why close the hospital's main morgue?
It was for sanitary reasons after the beginning of the epidemic. Cadavers had to be moved to the nearest mass grave.
Have we met before?
I don't think so, sir. Why?
When we first talked, you said you were glad to meet me since I was reported dead.
Funny story, sir. Your sister came here a few nights ago. You were missing, and she was looking for your body. She must be very relieved now.
Si supieras.
A pawnbroker? I expect you get all types of people here.
Yes, sir. All kind of people. for I sell all kind of goods.
Who comes here to trade with you? It's very unhygienic, even unsafe. Diseases can spread. For the customers, for the hospital.
I'm very cautious, sir. I've been a doctor, remember? And all my clients are good people. In fact, I think I only know good people.
What kind of goods?
With the quarantine, it's not always easy to buy things. So I trade, I exchange. Some people sell, some others buy. I like to help.
Since you're not afraid of dying, do you believe in life after death, Rakesh?
No. I believe we must do all the good we can while alive. For our time is short, and the obstacles are endless.
Do you think you would enjoy immortality as a concept?
I don't think so. Don't mistake me. I love life, and I'd like to live a long life. But everything has to decay, sir. Even goodwill.
Do you really believe goodwill cannot last?
As I said, sir, everything decays. If I was to never die, goodness, I would be bored or worse. And I like to be helpful, sir.
Quite depressing, wouldn't you say?
Yes, but the good news is we'll all die before losing our humanity, sir.
So you're ready to die?
No, I'm not. I don't fear death, for I won't see it. What troubles me is the pain my death will inflict to those I know.
You're a wise man, Mr. Chudan.
No, Dr. Reed. I am a foolish man. But I like to think otherwise.
Goodbye, Mr. Chudan.
Ok, ese güey era muy interesante. Ok, creo que ya hablé con todos los güeyes del hospital. Hey, esto no estaba abierto. Hey, ¿por qué aquí hay mucha sangre? ¿O qué es esto? Oh.
You don't mind if I search your pockets, do you, sir? You won't need any of these anyway. I'm not stealing from you, mister. I'm only redistributing your belongings to people who need them more than you. You see, no one has claimed your body, sir, so it would be such a shame to bury you with your valuables. I will not forget you, sir, and I thank you for your generous donation.
Alguien debe de morir.